Previously on Survivor Quarantine. Facing their second consecutive tribal council, Bikal was at a crossroads and sent Levi to Redemption Island, joining his former tribe mate, Sammy.
I will absolutely torch this tribe.
Drop your buffs.
A tribe swap shook up the game, with married couple Trevor and Laura acting as new team captains.
Like, of all the outcomes that could have happened, the only one that was impossible is that she and I could be on the same team.
And with little time to reacclimate, both tribes were heading to tribal council. Julie secured individual immunity on the new Bikal, leaving Ashley on the outs, and she tried to form an all-girls alliance.
Screw that, I'm not gonna lose to Rob.
Krista won immunity on the new Gota and immediately got to scheming.
I've had to convince Jenny and Trevor and Eric that I am voting out Phil.
10 are left. 2 will be voted out tonight.
All right, Gota and Bikal, welcome back to today's double tribal council. But before we get to that, we have another matter to attend to that we didn't get to experience fully last time, and that is a Redemption Island duel between our two Redemption Island inhabitants. That would be Sammy and Levi, both of the former first iteration of Bikal. Today's Redemption Island duel is going to be a battle of wits. Sammy and Levi will be playing dots and boxes. We are going to start with a grid of 11 by 9 dots. One line at a time, Sammy and Levi are going to alternate drawing lines between the dots. You can only draw the lines vertically or horizontally. You cannot draw them diagonally. If you make a box, you get to make another line. Whoever has the most boxes when the grid is totally full will win the game and therefore get to stay on Redemption Island. Levi with the first move, and we are off. So as we're waiting for this grid to fill in a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and read everyone fun facts about birds, courtesy of mentalfloss.com. Did you all know, audience watching while this game goes on, that ravens are great at mimicking human speech and sounds? While ravens in the wild are unlikely to pick up human language, in captivity they can become quite talkative. Some ravens are even better than parrots at mimicking human speech, not to mention sounds from the human world, like car engines revving or toilets flushing. In the wild, meanwhile, ravens sometimes imitate other animals, mimicking predators like wolves or foxes to attract them to tasty carcasses they're unable to break open on their own. Fun fact about birds, number 2, ostriches have the largest eye of any land animal. Ostrich eyes are the largest of any animal that lives on land, although they can't rival some of the massive creatures that inhabit the depths of the sea. Approximately the size of a billiard ball, their eyes are actually bigger than their brains. Levi, what's been your approach so far?
Just making these long snakes, Jeff.
My approach is to not let Levi get any more boxes.
That's a good approach. On to fun fact about birds number 3. Cardinals like to cover themselves in ants. Cardinals, along with several other bird species, sometimes cover themselves in crushed or living ants, smearing them over their feathers or allowing living ants to crawl on them. Scientists still are not sure what the purpose of anting is. Ant is a verb now. Some believe the birds use the formic acid secreted during their ant bath to help get rid of lice and other parasites. Fun fact number 4, owls devour their prey whole. When owls catch larger animals, like raccoons and rabbits for instance, they tear them up into more manageable bite-sized pieces. But they've also been known to simply swallow smaller animals, from insects to mice, whole. Owls then regurgitate pellets full of indigestible elements of their meal, like animal bones and fur. Number 5, some ducks sleep with one eye open. When they nap in groups, the ducks on the perimeter keep guard by sleeping with one eye open. While the other ducks sleep more deeply, those on the outside of the circle also keep one side of their brain awake, even as they doze, so that predators won't be able to sneak up on them. Checking back in on the game here, some of these rows of boxes aren't connected like you think they are, and some of them are gonna make chains that you don't see until it's already too late. Fun fact number 6, kiwis are sometimes called honorary mammals. Native to New Zealand, kiwis are a bizarre land-bound bird. Scientists, so mystified by the kiwi's strange properties, which include feathers that feel like hair, heavy bones filled with marrow, and nostrils on the tip of their nose rather than on the base of their beak like most birds, have sometimes called them honorary mammals. Number 7, most hummingbirds weigh less than a nickel. Hummingbirds are incredibly lightweight. The average hummingbird is around 4 grams, or 1 gram less than a nickel, while the smallest, the bee hummingbird, is closer to 1.6 grams, which is less than the weight of a penny. The largest member of the hummingbird family, meanwhile, is the aptly named giant hummingbird, which can get up to 24 grams. Enormous for a hummingbird, but only equivalent to about a handful of loose change. And we're just gonna keep flying along with these, am I right? Number 8, in ancient Greece, pigeons delivered the results of the Olympic Games. Believed to be the first domesticated bird, pigeons were used for millennia to deliver messages, including important military information and the outcome of the early Olympic Games. Though non-avian mail delivery has become more popular over time, pigeons were used as recently as World War II to carry select messages. Checking back in here, so it's this top right corner of the grid that is left to be filled in. Remember, Levi is player 1, he already has 1 box. Sammy is player 2, she is playing this game for the very first time. Meanwhile, fun fact about birds number 9, parrots can learn to say hundreds of words. While most parrots only learn around 50 words, some African gray parrots have been known to learn hundreds. Einstein, a brilliant African gray parrot at the Knoxville Zoo in Tennessee, can say around 200 words. We're gonna come back here to the game because now, there we go. We've got a box filled in for Sammy. We now have a tie. It is 1-1, with still some moves to be made before the boxes really have to start filling in. Meanwhile, fun fact number 10, swiftlet nests are a delicacy. Some swiftlets, appropriately named edible nest swiftlets, build nests almost exclusively from their hardened saliva. The saliva nests are considered a delicacy in some countries. In China, they are most frequently used to make bird's nest soup and are one of the most expensive foods in the world, despite having little flavor and no real nutritional value. And Levi makes a move. Sammy's going to connect quite a few boxes here. And she's going to jump to a pretty sizable lead. We're at that point where you're going to have to make a move that gives up boxes. The question is, do you pick the right sections to position yourself with the most? And Sammy finds another move that doesn't give up any boxes. Levi might have jumped the gun a little bit here, And now he has to re-examine and make sure he's not missing anywhere else. Bird fun fact number 11, Bassian thrushes. Never heard of that before. That's a fun fact in and of itself. Bassian thrushes find food, oh boy, by farting. Worm-eating Bassian thrushes have been known to dislodge their prey from piles of leaves by directing their farts at them. I wish I was making this up, but this is like, you can't make this up. The excretion of gas shifts the leaf litter on the ground and apparently provokes worms to move around, revealing their location. Bassian thrushes find their food by farting. Levi, meanwhile, finds a line at the bottom of the grid without giving up any boxes. Sammy leads 9-1 and she finds another one. Levi finds another one too. We're going back and forth here. There's some pretty distinctive sections here that might not break entirely, but will definitely give someone a good chunk of points. And Levi is going to concede 2 boxes there. Actually, it's going to be 3. Sammy finds that third box up top where it's basically been sitting there for quite a while. And Sammy now jumps to a 12-1 lead. For someone who has never played this game before, Sammy seems to be picking it up. And now the question is, can she find another move that doesn't give up boxes? Sammy makes a move and she's only going to concede 1 box. That's a great move. Levi gets another point on the board, but Sammy finds the move that created the least damage. Can Levi find a similar move in this grid that the two of them have built? Levi finds a good move there. Levi's only going to end up giving up 2 squares. That's a good defensive move from Levi, but he's playing from behind. After this, he's going to be down 12 points. And Sammy makes a big mistake there. She doesn't complete the box. Levi's going to get those 2 boxes for himself. Sammy went out of order to fill the boxes, and Levi gets to capitalize on the mistake. But now Levi has to go again. Was that a strategic move from Sammy, planning ahead with how the rest of this grid has shaken out? That could have been a very smart move, or it could have been a very big mistake. Sammy's going to get some points on the board here. And there she goes. She's going to fill those in. And while she does, bird fact number 12, woodpeckers hoard acorns. Woodpeckers are hoarders. Acorn woodpeckers store acorns by drilling holes in trees, fence posts, utility poles, and buildings, and depositing their nuts there. They have been known to store up to 50,000 acorns, each in its own tiny hole in a single tree called a granary tree. And Sammy makes a move that should give Levi a good chance to get some points back on the board. And now Levi has a pretty big decision to make. There's a lot of different grids here that need to fill in. And it's just a matter of finding which part of each grid will give up the least number of points. We are tied 17-17. The winner of this game stays on Redemption Island. Loser becomes the second member of our jury. Levi makes a move towards the bottom middle of the course. Sammy's going to fill that in. She's going to get 5 points out of that. She leads 22-17. And she goes right ahead and makes a move up top. Levi's going to jump to a lead here. There are not that many moves left to make here. In the order that they're made, there you go. Levi puts another line there on the bottom right corner, conceding that corner to Sammy. Sammy's going to end up filling in those boxes, but she's planning ahead in the meantime. And in the meantime of that, we've got bird fact number 13. The unique black and white coloring of penguins works as camouflage. While penguins might stand out on land, underwater, their black and white coloring helps them stay hidden from both predators and prey. As they swim, their black backs blend in. That's a tongue twister. Their black backs blend in with the darker ocean water below them, so they're difficult to spot from above. Their white chests, meanwhile, help them blend in with the lighter, brighter surface of the water so that from below they're near invisible. On land, meanwhile, their black backs may stand out sharply against the snowy landscape, but in most regions, the birds face so few predators on land, it's unnecessary to try to blend into the background. Neither player is taking the boxes that have been given to them. Will this be enough? Sammy with a 34-31 lead. But can she make a move here that stops Levi from getting that entire block in the middle? Levi might have learned from Sammy's move earlier. Can Sammy find something? From where I'm sitting, it's looking pretty good for Levi. This has certainly been a battle, and let's see if that does it. It looks like it will, but we'll let Levi fill in the grid just to lock it in. And indeed, it will. That was a hell of a battle. It went back and forth. It was an excellent Redemption Island challenge, but by a score of 65-34, Levi wins the Redemption Island duel, stays on Redemption Island. He will have a chance to get back into this game. Sammy, after riding it out on Redemption Island for a few days now, the game has come to an end. You will become the second member of our jury. Levi, you will return to Redemption Island and await your next challenger.
I was really glad to see that there's more puzzles. Unfortunately, even though that was the case, I still could not stay in the game. I'm very excited to join the jury. It's going to be nice to get to just like see everything from afar from here on out. Going to be able to experience this in such a different way, and I'm very happy about that. I hope that things don't shape out to be, a boring game. As things go on, I would like to see, some new people get to have a chance to play the game, get to really make it far in this game, and I'd like to see a lot of other players not play the same old way, and I'd like to see, just some changes and some people bridging the aisles. That's definitely what I'm going to be looking for in the jury, but I'm already worried just based on how my vote went and how, Levi's vote went that it's not going to turn out that way, but we'll have to see. So we've got a long way to final tribal council, and I've got a lot of thoughts forming already. Good luck, you guys.
Hello, Bickhall. Welcome to Tribal Council. This is the first of two Tribal Councils that we will be doing today, where we will send two people to Redemption Island. So there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of moving pieces. Rob, tell me about how you and Laura and Audrey welcomed in to Bickhall Julie and Ashley from the former Gotha.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And quite frankly, I think I've experienced the least change with this tribe swap because it's been Bickhall strong. We've got some newcomers. And quite frankly, it has not been a warm welcome for the new people. I'm going to call it right now. Ashley, you're going. This is my tribe, and we are strong tonight. If you thought for a second you were going to come at the king, you got another thing coming, Ashley. And I've been on top for a long time, and you're not going to take me down.
Okay, so Rob, you broke up for a lot of that. I don't know if you can hear us, but I heard you besmirch Ashley enough that I'm going to let Ashley have a chance to respond to that. Ashley, has the welcome really not been that warm for you and Julie here on the new Bickhall?
It's been fine from the girls. Rob, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. I'm sorry that I ghosted you. Is that what you needed? Do you want a hug?
I don't need a hug, Ashley. I'm just letting you know what's going on. Apparently, I was breaking up. I apologize. I'm on mobile. But the message should be clear, Ashley. You're going down tonight. I don't need to make time for someone who's not going to be around very long. Done.
But why would people want to be on a team with you if you're just so savage and like so not welcoming? Like you didn't say hi to me either, bro. And also like I wouldn't want to be on a team with someone who thinks it's all about them.
Yeah,
it's about the
team.
It's not about you. You're not a leader. This is a group. Come on, like, be a part of the
We're
team
matching
leading and say hi to me. Like, bring us together. But you're making this about you. I'm sorry I beat you in burpees.
You did. You did. You beat me, and I think that's what it is, Ashley. You showed your strength too soon. Everybody knows that you're a threat. When it comes to individual immunity, you're going to have an edge. And you know what? You're going home tonight. That's it.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna.
you admit you're intimidated.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
jump in here.
I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated. But you know what I'm not intimidated in? This vote right now, because I've got the numbers. And that's why you're gone.
I just won.
That's why you're gone, Ashley.
I'm going to go ahead and mute both Ashley and Rob here because we have other things to get to. Audrey, what was the pitch? Like, you know, this is pretty straightforward math right now. You've got 2 former Gota, 3 original Bacall. Did Ashley or Julie come to you with a pitch? Like, hey, like, it doesn't have to be that way. Let's shake it up.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there was definitely talks. There was a lot of really great pitches from both Ashley and Julie about, hey, we got 4 gals here, might as well stick together. Rob does things like he just did not even a minute ago. So that's always a concern. But then, you know, we also are 3 Bacall, and do we want to stay Bacall strong? It's definitely a pickle we're kind of in that we have to balance.
So, Laura, that was a common refrain on the old Bacall was like, stay Bacall strong, like nothing can take this team apart. This is the first time where that mantra is really going to get put to the test. So where do you fall on that? Are you staying Bacall strong tonight?
I mean, I definitely agree with what Audrey has been saying. As somebody whose name was kind of thrown into the mix last time for Bacall, you know, that doesn't sit super well with me. So, like, I mean, I think that there are a lot of factors to take in for the vote tonight.
So, Ashley, I'm coming back to you. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Julie is sitting here with an immunity necklace around her neck. You are the only vulnerable former member of Gota. You've clearly come in with a pretty impassioned plea, but you have to be feeling pretty vulnerable here, even setting aside Rob basically calling you out and pointing his finger at you and saying, it's you, so get ready.
I mean, yes, I feel vulnerable about that. But at the same time, I think that he just kind of speaks for himself. I think he's trying to intimidate me and trying to, I don't know. I think he's trying to control everyone by saying this is what we're doing. And I wouldn't want to be on a team with a dictator personally.
So Rob, I'm going to come back to you. Is it fair to say that you are a dictator or that your leadership comes off too strong?
I would certainly hope not. I feel that what we have in our original group was a collaborative effort. And I think that shines through when you look at how the votes have gone. We have been unanimous through and through, and everybody's been on the same page that this is for the team that came together at the beginning. We're all in this together. We've got the other team captain here in a vulnerable position where she doesn't have the numbers and we do. So if we can leverage that, if we can take advantage right now, we get a big player out of the game. Make no mistake, Ashley, it's not that I don't think you're an excellent player. I think you're one of the best. And I think if you stay in, you're going to win it.
I mean, we were just talking about the same thing for you, but we think that you're going to intimidate everyone to let you win. And we don't think you're going to play fair to let everyone to win.
Yeah, well, I mean, if this is fans versus favorites, if you've seen the other seasons, you know 2 things. One, I never play fair. Absolutely. And the other thing is the jury hates me. Everybody dislikes me in this game. You take me to the end, I'm not winning.
I'm going to come back to Audrey and Laura here. Audrey, let's start with you. We've heard 2 pitches now from Rob that lead to the same end goal, but are very different in tenor and are very different in argument. I'm assuming, I have to assume that the 3 of you, Rob, Laura, and Audrey, have had talks together at some point. in those conversations, which Rob are you getting and which argument are you more responsive to?
I don't even know where to start with that question. I mean, we're for recall. Of course, we're going to have some conversations, especially we know that if we would flip on one another, our other recall mates might get mad at us and we would be liable. But on the other hand, when you hear Rob go off like he does now, he might say that he's not a jury threat. But the way he boasts and like has that gravitas about himself makes him quite a force to be reckoned with. So there's definitely a lot of factors to consider here, and it's definitely not a simple decision.
Julie, that's got to be music to your ears, because I mean, to hear that it's not a simple decision is really all you can ask for as a minority voter in this group. Like, you have immunity, so there's a little bit of personal safety, but how can you leverage any kind of crack to twist this vote in your favor?
Well, on any tribe, there's always someone on the bottom, and you got to find where that crack is. Someone knows that they're on the bottom, and they would have been the next person out at the next tribal if the teams weren't shifted. So hopefully you can find that person, get them appeal to their maybe insecurities on their own tribe, see if you can get them to flip.
Laura, how do you think this vote is playing out, and what is informing your vote specifically as it pertains to these formal tribal lines and the possibility for new opportunities, perhaps?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I mean, I definitely think I agree with what Audrey has says, that it's not so cut and dry. I think that this vote tonight is just going to be interesting to see where people actually, lie, and whether or not, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Are you undecided? Do you not know who you're voting for?
I mean, I think there are just good arguments for both. So I just,
But you do know who you're voting for.
I mean, yes, but I'm not going to spill the beans.
Right. Not asking you to, but you do know.
No, I know. I mean, I think, again, there are just a lot of factors to take in.
It is time to vote. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Ashley's going to vote for Rob, and Rob's going to vote for Ashley. We will see how these other three votes pan out. When I call your name, DM me on Discord the name of the person that you want voted out of this tribe. Audrey, you're up first. All right, I will tally the votes. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. Okay, once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to extinguish their torch and turn off their camera. I'll read the votes. First vote. Ashley. Freaking Rob. We're tied. 1 vote Ashley, 1 vote Rob. Rob, that's 2 votes Rob, 1 vote Ashley. Ashley, we're tied. 2 votes Rob, 2 votes Ashley, 1 vote left. The 4th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites. Ashley, I'm sorry, that's enough. You need to extinguish your torch and turn off your camera. You will have a chance to get back into this game. Ashley, the tribe has spoken. Well, Bacall managed to stay Bacall strong, and there's one more tribal to get to before the night is over. Let's see how it all shakes out. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night.
My exit confessional is screw you, Rob. Screw you, Rob. And screw you, Rob. And also thank you, Julie, for being a faithful teammate. You rock. And one more thing. Screw you, Rob.
Welcome, Gota, to the second of 2 tribal councils. So, Gota, I haven't seen you here in a while. Phil, you're the only Bacall member here who is pretty vulnerable. So how do you feel right now? Do you think your name's on the block? Surely you must know that your name is on the block.
I hadn't considered that. I'm fully well aware that the numbers are very much stacked against me.
So what's been the pitch?
There's two aspects of it. There's trying to build a relationship, build trust, and then there's making the actual pitch. I tried to do both with each of the three members. I already knew Eric ahead of time, so building the relationship wasn't quite as necessary. But with Jenny and Trevor, it was starting from square one. Like I'm just a face to them who has been their enemy up until this point. So I tried to get to know them a little bit, tried to connect with them on a few things, tried to build up a little bit of trust, and then tried to make a pitch on who we could vote out and move forward in the game with. I think I was very upfront and open about the fact that I'm making a pitch and it's up to them, to save me at this point, right? Like with the way that the numbers are. So I'm hopeful one of those plans will come through tonight.
So Trevor, just by process of elimination here, that means he's pitching, voting out one of your two former original GOTA members. How responsive were you to what Phil was saying?
I think we all kind of knew that Phil was having to talk his way out of a really disadvantaged position, and that did entail breaking up of GOTA. The thing is, though, we have to keep our eyes on the prize here, and at some point in this game, there won't be a GOTA anymore. It's just how the game is played that one day those bonds might not matter as much, and I'm afraid that day might be coming faster than we know.
Eric, do you agree with that? Is the sentiment on this tribe that this vote is being informed by some merge that may or may not be coming?
Yeah, I would say that that's accurate, and I think it's time for everyone to start thinking about that kind of thing. There were a lot of talented players on the other tribe, and the fact that we had two come over here, even though they were in the minority, we knew that they weren't gonna come in kind of hanging their heads, and they were gonna come with thoughts and ideas. And it's kind of game on from a short and long term perspective when you get two relatively heavy hitters added into the mix.
So Krista, as one of those heavy hitters, and as someone who comes into this vote with really nothing to lose in some ways, except maybe an ally from your former tribe, possibly. What is your role in the build up to this tribal as the safe person among the minority voters in this group? What's your role in how the strategy is played out?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, I'm safe for this vote, but I'm only safe for one vote. So I've never met Jenny or Trevor, and I barely know Eric. So, a lot of my time was spent forming relationships because I know that I will be moving forward. So if it merges tonight, I want to move forward with these people. And if a merge isn't tonight, we're moving forward as a tribe no matter what. So that was my main focus.
Okay, so Jenny, what's informing your vote tonight then? If it's equal parts Bacall versus GOTA, and also balancing your own short-term interests in the event that a change in the game is coming, how do you vote?
So I think with the merge kind of impending, that's definitely on my mind. I think what I'm basing my vote on tonight is who I can trust more and who I can't trust. So I think that's what I'm personally basing my vote off of.
So Phil, that's got to be bad news for you because you've had barely any time to establish trust with these people. So what else can you sell them on that might make them inclined to keep you around?
I've been grasping for anything I can thus far. Sometimes you might not be able to instill trust in somebody, but you can instill distrust in somebody else. And it's not necessarily that I'm instilling something. I think it's more that I'm bringing things to light that will become realities in the game, and hopefully helping some people make a decision that is actually better for them in the long run.
Krista, who are the biggest threats left in the game right now in your mind?
Me. Phil. Rob. I feel like everybody is kind of a threat in their own way. Like, you can be a threat even if you've never seen the show, because like your naivety is a threat. Like, anybody can really be a target for any reason, in my opinion. But in terms of like who I believe people will be gunning for, 1,000% me, 1,000% Phil, 1,000% Rob.
So Trevor, as one of those people who has never seen the show before, what makes you a threat?
I will add, Jeff, that I have seen the show, just not this decade. And that does make things a little hairy for me. I know that I'm kind of at that disadvantage, but it also gives me sort of that fresh eye that Krista was just kind of talking about, that there's also an unpredictability there. It's kind of, you know, the principle behind beginner's luck. The beginner doesn't even know what they're doing, so the expert can't read them as well. And hopefully that's not all I have going on for me.
And last question to Eric here. What do you think this vote will say about this group of people going forward, whether there's a merge or not?
It'll kind of dictate every other tribal from here on that exists in Gota history. I think that maybe even more so than the first time that we went to tribal. It's more of a line in the sand on how you want to go through here, because none of us are truly bright-eyed and knew the world, and now we can all kind of make mature judgments. So I think that everyone reserves the right to kind of take the information from this and carry it with them for a long time down the road in the game.
All right, well, let's draw some lines in that sand and see where people fall. It is time to vote. When I call your name, please DM me on Discord the name of the person you want voted out of this tribe. Jenny, you're up first. Okay, I'll tally the votes. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you would like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Jeff,
Okay.
Times in life to take chances and times in life to be sure of things. And tonight I would like to be sure of something. I would like to play my idol.
The rules of Survivor state that anyone who plays a hidden immunity idol for themselves will negate all votes cast against them. This is a hidden immunity idol. All votes cast for Phil will not count. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to extinguish their torch and turn off their camera. I'll read the votes. First vote. Phil, does not count. Phil, does not count. Phil, that's 3 votes for Phil. None of them count. Phil, that's 4 votes cast, all for Phil. None of them count. 1 vote left. The 5th person voted out of Survivor Fans versus Favorites. Eric, I'm sorry, that's enough. You need to extinguish your flame and turn off your camera. You will have a chance to get back into this game. Eric, the tribe has spoken. I don't think anyone on this tribe, save maybe for Phil, saw the vote going that way. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night.
Where to begin? Had a great time. I'm gutted that I couldn't lead Trevor and Jenny any farther in the game. Gotta respect the play. Gotta respect the keeping Krista in the dark part. Regretting not doing anything cooler, which was my reflex.
got talked out of it 2 different times, but it's going to happen. I'm thankful that there's Redemption Island. A little sad that I have to battle Ashley and Levi to get back in, but if I can kick Levi out of the game for good, that would make me a pretty happy camper. And that's what I came here to do anyway, so I could see some silver linings there. I think overarching lessons, none, no overarching lessons. But I will go practice my dots and boxes and get ready to kick these kids out of the game.